Okay, students, this is our fourth installment of Chapter 8. This is Chapter 8.3. Here's the title. I hope you have all your notes ready to copy, and make sure you pause the video when you are told to pause the video. So the name of our topic today is Special Products of Binomials. Okay, here vocabulary that we are going to look, two of them only. The two of them are called perfect square trinomial and then difference of two squares. These are the two that we are going to learn today. Okay, moving on. Now, imagine a square with the sides of length a and b. Just imagine. There are no numbers, just a and b. One side is called a and b, the other one is going to be a and b. You could see that, right? So how do we find the area of a square? Of course, we multiply this side by that side. Is that clear? So, but remember, there are no numbers in this case, right? So we are going to multiply a plus b times a plus b. Okay, that's what the whole idea is, okay? So the square is going to be a plus b times a plus b, okay? And the answer is going to be in the blue, a squared plus ab, which we combine. Remember, o and I, and then b squared. It may not make sense right now. Just bear with me, okay? So here we go. This means that a plus b squared, this is squared binomial, right, is going to be equal to a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Now we can use the distributive property, we could use the FOIL method, it doesn't matter, okay? So here's the answer, okay? The first is going to be a squared, the outer is going to be ab, then the inner is going to be ab, and last is going to be b squared. Now remember that we did that before, okay? So the answer is going to be a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Remember, the middle one, which is called the o and I, have to be combined, okay? And this is called perfect square trinomial. Okay, perfect square. Remember that word, perfect square trinomial, right? Here's one example we're going to do. The first example, okay? X plus 3. Now remember, the first one we did was a plus b. Instead of x we have a, instead of b we have 3. Okay, if we use the same rule, remember what's going to happen. We're going to multiply a times a. Watch this now. Okay, so remember, a times a is a squared. Then the last one is going to be b times b is b squared. The middle one, what you are doing is you multiplying what's in parentheses, a times b, and you double it. It becomes 2ab, okay? And here's the simplified form. So x squared, remember, x times 3 is 3x times 2 is 6x plus 9. Just get the gist of this, okay? Now let's try this one. Now what's going to happen? Okay, we are going to follow the same rule. So when you follow the same rule, what's going to happen? 4s squared. Then remember, you're going to multiply what's inside and then double it. Multiply inside the parentheses, which is 4s plus 3t. You multiply them, you get 12st, and you double it. It becomes 24. Okay, here's the answer. Are you beginning to understand it? I hope so. Slow the video if you want, or stop. All right, here's another example. Same situation, except instead of saying AB, we are going to say 5 plus m squared. Okay, same scenario, same situation. Now, in this case, remember, we are following the same rule of squared binomial, which will give us the perfect square trinomial. The a squared in red now becomes 5 squared. Then the o and I is going to be 5m squared times 2. Remember, you multiply the one inside the parentheses, in this case 5m squared times 2, you get the middle one, and then m squared times squared will be m to the 4th, okay? Here's the answer. Okay, here's your turn. Okay, please pause the video as soon as you see that. Okay, here's the answer. Now remember, step by step, and here's your final answer. Now try this one too. Pause the video, please. Okay, here's the answer. Another one. And here's the answer. Okay, you can also use FOIL method to find the products of the form of a minus b squared. Okay, now remember it was plus before, now we are doing minus. Okay, all right, a minus b squared will be this, it will follow the same thing we did with the positive, except this time it's going to be negative. Okay, same thing, no difference. First the red one, outer the blue one, inner the purple one, and last is going to be the green one. Okay, but the only difference between the first one we saw, the second one we saw, is the second part has a minus. Okay, okay. Now a trinomial of the form a squared minus ab plus b squared is also a perfect square trinomial because it's the result of a squared binomial. Okay, here's one example we're going to do. Remember now, instead of ab we're going to say x minus 6, same trend. Okay, but it's going to follow the same way. Okay, we're going to use the rule of a minus b squared, same story. Okay, so here we go, x squared minus 2x times 6. Remember, the inside gets multiplied and then doubled by 2, and this is the final answer. Okay, here's the final answer. I'm sorry. Here's letter B. Okay, watch this now. Instead of a b, I have 4m minus 10. Same story. Okay, here we go. So remember, you're going to follow that rule. So instead of 4m, we're going to square it, and the 10 is going to get squared. But what goes as an O and an I, what you are doing is you are multiplying the inside, which is 4m minus 10. It becomes negative 40m. Then you double it, it becomes 80, negative 80n. Okay? Now, here's another one, same story, except we are going to say 2x minus 5y. Okay? Now remember, what comes as O and I, in the outer and inner, is going to be 2x minus 5. You multiply them, then you get negative 10xy, and then you double it, negative 20xy. Remember that. Okay, here we go. Okay, see what I'm doing? And here's the answer. Okay, remember, the 2x and the 5y, they are going to be squared, but because in front of 5y we have a negative, it becomes 25. Negative times negative is positive, and then the 2x, the first one, gets squared, which is 4x squared. Here's another example. Now, what do you guess the answer is going to be? Can we guess it? Okay, it's going to be what? 7 times 7 is 49. Then the middle one is going to be multiply 7 times negative r cubed. It will be negative 7r cubed. Double it, it becomes 14, negative 14r cubed. Then what's going to be the last one? R cubed times r cubed. Add the exponent, it's going to be r to the 6. You guessed it? Here we go. Here's the final answer. You see that? All right. Now your turn. Now please pause the video. We have 2 of them. Go. And here's the answer. Okay, here's the answer. Now pause the video, please. And for B is, here's the answer. I hope you got it. Okay. Now, you can use an area model to see that. Now, we're going to use an area model, like a geometric figure, okay? We are going to use a squared minus b squared. Now, be conscious of this now, okay? Here's the area. Now, what I don't want to use is the one dotted, right? So we want to use the white area. How do you find the white area? Begin with the square of the area of the entire thing. What's the entire thing? A times A, right? That's the entire thing, but we don't want the entire thing. We want just the one that is white. So we need to subtract b times b, which is b squared, okay? So how do we go about it? Okay, remember, if we move that to the front, what's going to happen? If we do that, look what's going to happen. We just make it into a complete rectangle, okay? But we are going to remove that part. Don't worry if this doesn't make sense to you. We can do that in class again. Okay, so using that in your mind, using that, let's look at the example. So a plus b times a minus b will give you a squared minus b squared. Now, come on, remember this one, okay? So this is a binomial of the form a squared minus b squared. It's called difference of two squares. Why difference? Because it's a minus. Y squared because both a and b are squared. Okay, we are going over 10 minutes. Now here's the example. X plus 4 times x minus 4. Okay, now when we do the FOIL, what are we going to get? A squared minus b squared. It means we are going to get x squared minus 16. Are you with me? Okay. Now, let's try the other one. Here's p squared plus 8p. No, p squared minus 8q. So what are we going to get? We are going to square p squared, which is p to the fourth, plus becomes a minus. Then 8q, we are going to square it. It becomes 64q. Are you seeing the trend now? That's the difference of two squares. Okay, here's the answer. Like I just told you. Here's one you can do. Now here's 10 plus b times 10 minus b. Remember, you're going to square 10, which is 10 squared, and then you're going to minus b times b, which is b squared. Now this thing, you have to memorize it. Okay, here's the final answer. Okay, I keep saying okay a lot, huh? All right, here's your turn. Now pause the video, please. And here's the answer. Now do B, please. And here's the answer. Glad you got it. Okay. Now this one is the same thing we did, except this time we need to find the whole area minus the middle one, the inside one. Okay. So what's the outside? X plus 5 times x plus 5. You know what's going to happen, right? Then you're going to subtract x plus 2 times x minus 2. Okay. Let's do the first plan. Okay. So what do we do? First, we're going to find the entire area. So x plus 5 times x plus 5. Okay. So x plus 5 times x plus 5. Then we're going to subtract x minus 2 times x 2. Okay. So the total area. Use the rule of a plus b squared. Okay, so what do we get? X squared plus 10x plus 5 squared. So that's the entire area, right? But then we're going to subtract what? The area of the pool, which is the inside one. The inside one is going to be x plus 2 minus x minus 2. That's going to be the difference of two squares. Remember that. X squared minus 4x. So we're going to take away from the area of the yard, okay? So what do we do? Here we go. So we subtract from the total area, the pool area. It gives us this. And the answer is going to be 10x plus 29. Okay. Now here's your turn. Try this one, please. Pause the video and I'll give you the answer. Okay. Answer the expression that shows the area of the two rectangles combined. Okay. So follow this slowly, please. You can pause the video at any time. So here's how to solve it. Okay. So x squared minus 25, and the other one is going to be the area of the lower square is going to be x times x, x squared. Of course, x squared and x squared cancel each other, and your answer is going to be 5. Good. I hope you got it. All right, here's the something you can do on your own. Now I want you to pause the video and copy this one. Almost coming to 15 minutes. Here's a quiz you can take, and here are the answers. And this is the one that I want you to do on your own. Please pause the video, and here's the answer.